Hey guys, this is Himu Kim bringing you a new video on what I want to talk about in the next Mortal Kombat installment. Things I want returned and things that I want changed for the previous installment that I wasn't very happy about. So you may expect some rants, but it's a good idea of why I want it to be changed. Previous MK titles have always had its unique colored hoods and cool presentations to it. What I want back is the green and red life bars, with a new effect like Mortal Kombat 9. Having those life bars is what represents Mortal Kombat's gameplay in the past decade. I don't understand why MKX had to pull off the laziest, inexcusable graphic design I've ever seen. How do you go from this colorful hood to the smeared with white paint textured hood? I've always hated the look of it, including the logo of the game, so please change it as soon as possible. Speaking of the colors, has anyone bothered to mention the lack of serrations in this game? Like, what the hell, dude? I get you were showing off the new visuals of MKX, but stripping away the colors of everything around it just turns me off completely. Sometimes it's hard to tell what we are seeing because it's so goddamn dark and too bright. Some levels have too much brown and green and orange and white. What happened, NRS team? Did you guys become colorblind or what? No offense to those who are. Just looking at the lack of colors in Mortal Kombat X makes me very depressed, and I feel that the future of NRS games will continue this color scheme. Make Mortal Kombat colorful again. It doesn't need to be too edgy. Okay, so when I meant too edgy, I meant it in a way where it takes itself way too seriously. Mortal Kombat always had a blend of cheesiness and edginess in its previous game, but MKX is the only one that I can think of that has the most tamest and underwhelming fatalities they can come up with imaginable. Like the selfie fatality from Cassie Cage. I would have been impressed if it was a lot more gruesome to disturb me than after it just throws me off with some comedy relief to let me know that hey, it's over the top but it's funny at the same time. But no, she just leaves her opponent with a hanging jaw with the selfie shot right after that. I mean, come on, you could have been more creative than that. Just the hanging jaw. Really, guys? Come on. You can look at many of the other fatalities in MKX, and most of them were just rushed and half-assed compared to the MK9, where there was effort and put into them and creative. The only one I liked most in MKX was Triborg's Meat Cube fatality. Now that is what I'm talking about. Heck, at least Brutalities does it right and feels more rewarding when you pull it off for each character. All I'm saying is that the fatalities need to be a lot more creative, a lot more funnier, a lot more bizarre. It shouldn't be too safe. It's Mortal Kombat, for fuck's sakes. Don't try to change anything that's already amazing from before. Mortal Kombat X's music is okay. Not the greatest, but not so interesting either. I have a few tracks that I did enjoy, such as the Kwatan Jungle, Crossroads, Dibwoods, and the Cove, and the Pit. My biggest problem is that there's not much variety of instruments that Dan Foreign used in each stage that sounds too identical from each other. Too much guitar riff and sounds too cinematic. We got other fighters like Street Fighter V, Killer Instinct, and Tekken 7 that can still deliver some kick-ass music, so don't tell me Dan hasn't lost his taste for good quality soundtracks. I only wish him and Mike Gordon would work together to deliver some amazing tracks. Now that would be godlike. Now a good example of great modern MK music is MK Deception, where it has real presence to its stage. They're dark, brutal, and it feels like a new take on Mortal Kombat 2 soundtracks. Listen to the comparison of Sky Temple for example. The slow build towards it with chants and deep drum bass not only feels like you're immersed in the stage, but you're facing your opponent knowing that you're going to die from a 1,666 foot drop. Now listen to Mortal Kombat X's Sky Temple version, and it actually sounds pretty good, but for me, it just doesn't deliver that well. Also, please make the character select theme exciting. I cannot stand the selection screen in MKX, just the lack of effort you guys put into it. I mean, who was the bonehead who decided to say, hey, let's just merge the main menu with the character select theme? I just don't like this at all. You're supposed to keep those separated in general. Don't rush the game to save time and money. Put some effort into the character select theme like Mortal Kombat 9. It's so underwhelming that it makes me feel like it's an ASMR program. I should feel pumped up when I'm about to face an opponent before I start the match. That's including the sound effects. Why do they sound so bland and boring? Please bring back the clang sound effect and the gong when you select the character. Here's how it should sound in the next installment.
Sub-Zero. Raiden.
It surprises me Mortal Kombat X barely had any interest of stage fatalities when there was so much opportunities to include them. Adding the stage fatalities and brutalities at the last minute doesn't sell me either, especially when they should have been there on the day the game was first launched. Even the stages don't stand out very well either, except for the Cove and the Pit in my opinion, so I expect new and exciting stage fatalities in the next game. Past titles such as Mortal Kombat 9 and Injustice Gods Among Us had such satisfying ways in combat that your opponents would have body damage or torn clothing after being heavily damaged by their opponents. They somehow removed this feature in the newer games and decided to add dirt, sweat, and cuts on their opponents instead, to save them the trouble. Laziness at its finest. And don't give me that, well, they're trying to be realistically proportioned or trying to stay away from the over-the-top violence. It's Mortal Kombat. It's supposed to be extremely violent and unbelievable and cheesy. That's why I love Mortal Kombat 9 so much, because of those things. Last thing I want to bring up is where in the hell is the versus screen for both characters facing against each other, like an actual tournament? And no, the character select screen does not count. Armageddon had this way before, and I fanboy because it hasn't returned in Deception or Deadly Alliance. Mortal Kombat 9 obviously brought this feature back to give us that classic Mortal Kombat feel, so I'm hoping they'll bring this feature back as well. Well guys, that's all I had to discuss for today. Give me your thoughts and your ideas, and please don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. And I hope I'm not the only one who has the same problems with Mortal Kombat X. Besides the gameplay, it's pretty great, but it's lackluster of content is driving me insane. This is Himu Kim, and I'm tuning out.